Christina's world is a picture that's actually kind of hard to look at anymore because it's become such an icon that to come to it fresh is almost impossible.
Art has been alive since the beginning of time. It takes up many forms. Visual arts is the most common of all. Arts is the gateway of emotions and a channel of emotions of all creatures. And with the combination of undiluted talent and genuine passion, artists often create an out-of-this-world masterpiece. The artistry that they convey in their piece produces a realistic portrait. Here is a landscape that looks like a real-life painting. By the way, make sure to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our engaging videos, and use that trigger finger by smashing that like button.
Over decades, people come back to it, find it haunting, even people who don't really know the story of Christina.
Now, let's get into it. This is a 1984 painting by American painter Andrew Wyeth, and one of the best-known American paintings of the middle 20th century. Set in the stark landscape of coastal Maine, Christina's world depicts a young woman seen from behind, wearing a pink dress and lying in a grassy field. Although she appears to be in a position of repose, her torso, propped on her arms, is strangely alert. Her silhouette is tense, almost frozen, giving the impression that she is fixed to the ground. She stares at a distant farmhouse and a group of outbuildings, ancient and grayed in harmony with the dry grass and overcast sky. Because we don't see Christina's face, we instead focus on the details of her body. We see grayed fingers, disheveled hair, a pink dress, and plain shoes. Questions may flood the viewer. Who is Christina? Why is she on the ground? Who or what is she looking for in the distance? Elements of mystery and intrigue might compel the viewer to look closer. This mysterious effect adds up to the mastery of this work of art. Who is the famous subject of this art? The lady in the landscape is Anna Christina Olsen. She was one of the painter's muses, appearing in several other artworks. Olsen lived on her family farm in South Cushing, Maine, near Wyeth's vacation home. As a young girl, Olsen developed a degenerative muscle condition, possibly polio, that left her unable to walk. She refused to use a wheelchair, preferring to crawl, as depicted here, using her arms to drag her lower body along. Although neurologists initially thought Olsen had polio, they now believe she suffered from Charcot-Marie tooth, CMT disease, which causes weakness in the feet and lower leg muscles. CMT also hampers coordination of the fingers, hands, wrists, and tongue. And this was the greatest challenge for Wyeth: to give justice to Olsen's life that many have deemed hopeless, to portray a subject that will be admired and not pitied. Wyeth uniquely used 3 models in this piece. First, the figure's wasted limbs and pink dress belong to Christina Olsen. The youthful head and torso, however, belong to Betsy Wyeth, his wife, who was then in her mid-20s. The most famous model in this scene is the Olsen farmhouse itself, which was built in the late 18th century and is still standing and was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1995. The house depicted in the painting is known as the Olsen House in Cushing, Maine, and is open to the public, operated by the Farnsworth Art Museum. It is a National Historic Landmark and has been restored to match its appearance in the painting, although Wyeth separated the house from its barn and changed the lay of the land for the painting. Christina's world was first exhibited at the Macbeth Gallery in Manhattan in 1948. It received little attention from critics at the time, but Alfred Barr, the founding director of the Museum of Modern Art, bought the painting for $1,800. He promoted it at MoMA, and it gradually grew in popularity over the years. Today, it is considered an icon of American art and is rarely loaned out by the museum. In fact, MoMA has only loaned out Christina's world once. Following Wyeth's death in 2009, at the age of 91, the museum allowed Christina's world to visit its creator's birthplace, Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania, where the Brandywine River Museum exhibited the polarizing painting for 2 days in memorial before returning it to New York. That's how valuable this piece is. So, if you ever had the chance to see it in person, well, you are indeed a lucky one. What's so intriguing about this piece of art? Aside from its realistic image, Wyeth portrays the countryside as an escape, an Arcadia. Viewers may notice the pinpoint details of Wyeth's style, how he meticulously paints each blade of grass, hyper-focusing every detail. Even the farm on the horizon, Christina leads toward her farmhouse. She longs to be home again. She wants us to come with her. The interpretation of why she's leaning towards the house is her undeniable longing to come home. How about the technique that the artist used in this piece? The composition is perfectly asymmetrically balanced, though parts of the farmhouse were rearranged by artistic license to accomplish this feat. Wyeth painted in egg tempera, a medium that requires the artist to mix and constantly monitor his own paints, but allows for great control. Notice the incredible detail here, where individual hairs and blades of grass are painstakingly highlighted. You will notice the strikingly vivid details when you look closely. Often criticized for his inability to evolve his style with the times, Andrew Wyeth's contribution to American art is paramount. He remained loyal to realism throughout his career and perfected this style through countless paintings depicting rural settings. Shortly after the Museum of Modern Art bought the artist's painting, Wyeth became a successful painter. He became a wealthy artist. Though he reportedly offered the Olsen family gifts, Christina ardently refused any money. So while he indirectly profited from the struggles of a disabled person, his subject never saw any of that wealth. The family continued to live in their decrepit farmhouse. Fun fact, Wyeth was initially unhappy with Christina's World. Though it would become his best-known work and an icon of American art, Christina's World was described by Wyeth as a complete flat tire when he sent it off to the Macbeth Gallery for a show in 1989. He also wondered if the painting would have been improved if he painted just that field and have you sense Christina without her being there. But things turned out for the best. Look at how far his piece reached. It touched and inspired artists and non-artists. Sometimes, no matter how great you do, people will still have something to say. Christina's World's place in the art pantheon is still a matter of debate. Though undeniably iconic, the painting has long been undermined by vocal detractors. Art historians have often snubbed Wyeth's works in their surveys, and some naysayers have attacked the painting's widespread popularity, deriding it as a mandatory dorm room poster. Meanwhile, critics have chastised Wyeth's attention on Olsen's infirmity and characterized it as exploitation. Still, others claim there was no art in rendering realistic imagery in paint. These critics just made Christina's World more famous and known. Christina's World plays a pretty significant role in popular culture. Writers, filmmakers, and other visual artists reference it, and the public has always loved it. An artist's life can be labeled as successful. Even after his death, his art lives on. Only after death, a piece of art can be called a real masterpiece. In Arthur C. Clarke's novel 2001: A Space Odyssey, Christina's World is one of the two paintings, the other one being Vincent van Gogh's Bridge at Arles, hanging on the living room wall of an elegant, anonymous hotel suite, to which the astronaut David Bowman is transported after passing through the Stargate. It was also seen in the films The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The In Crowd, Forrest Gump, War on Everyone, and I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Also in comic series and a video game. That is how widely Christina's World influence. Art is a language that its meaning varies on the viewer, and that is the beauty of it. It wholly depends on the viewer's perspective and reception of the artist's message and emotions. What do you think about Christina's World? Let us know in the comments section below. And hey, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so we continue giving you the best content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.